5.6, we're going to do some more applications, and they're going to be a little challenging, and we're going to do a bunch of them. The only way we're going to get good at this if we do a lot of problems. And so don't get frustrated. Let's work them through, and then we're going to see how we do. We're going to do proportions also. We're going to solve work problems and certain basic problems using rational expressions. Remember, those are your fraction, algebraic fraction looking things. We're going to solve applied problems involving proportions, and we're going to solve motion problems. So we're doing work problems here and these motion problems using rational equations. Let's look at an example. Matt and Adam need to repaint their parents' house. Okay, Matt can do the job alone in 45 hours. Alone. That's the trick here. So if he was just working, it would take him 45 hours. Now, Adam, he can do the job alone in 60 hours. How long will it take the two of them working together to paint the house? Well, familiarize yourself. What we do is go back, reread the problem, pull out the good information. A, one incorrect way to translate the problem is to add the two times together. Now, that's nonsense. It's going to take 105 hours when it only took one person 45, the other person 60 working alone. That doesn't make sense. Another incorrect approach is to assume that each person paints half the house. Well, it doesn't make sense either because one's working, able to do the job in less time. So that doesn't make sense either. So what we're going to do is we're looking for the time required to paint one entire house. That's the key right there. We want to know one. Whenever we do work problems, we're going to have equal one, and that refers to one complete job. Okay? Not just part of it, but the whole one. To find this time, we form a table and extend the pattern. So we look at it. In 1 hour, if we just took 1 hour, Matt would do his portion would be 1/45th of the house. Adam would be 1/60th, adding it together. And then if we do 2 hours, well, we don't know actually what the time is. So therefore, we're going to say we don't know what the time is. We're going to give that a variable and call that t. We don't know. It's time. So if we looked at this in general, since we don't know the time, Matt's contribution to the job would be his fractional part of an hour, or the whole job, 1/45th times t, and Adam's would be 1/60th t. So if we write that as one expression, then we get this as the expression. All right, let's refer to that back again. This is the portion that Matt would do. That's his portion right there. All right. And then this is the portion that Adam would do. So working together, we can say we can add those fractions. But remember, we're always going to say that we're going to do one complete house. So now we have this. But we can't do anything until we get a common denominator, which is 180. So let's multiply both sides by the 180. And now we find that t is equal to 25 and 5/7. So we check. 180 over 7. That works out if we were to do the portion that Adam is painting. But remember, they're working together. They paint 4/7 and 3/7 equals one whole house. The fact that our solution is between 22.5 and 30 also checks, doesn't it? So it will take 25 and 5/7 hours for Matt and Adam working together to paint the house. So work principle. This is called the works principle. What we do is we look at suppose that A is the time it takes A to do a job, B is the time it takes B to do a job, and T is the time it takes to do the job working together. So now we're going to say that 1 over A times T plus 1 over T over B is equal to one whole job. That's the key, one whole job. Now, problems involving proportions, the ratio of two quantities is their quotient. For example, 45% is the quotient of 45 over 100, 45 over 100. A proportion is an equal equation stating that two of the ratios are equal. Ratios, we know, are just basically fractions. So when we have two fractions equal to one another, then we say that this is a proportion. Inequality of ratios, A over B equals C over D, is read A is to B as C is to D. That's why we call it a proportion. The numbers named in a proportion are said to be proportional to each one another. So A is proportional to B as C is proportional to D. A sample of 186 hard drives contained 4 defective drives. How many defective drives would you expect? So this is sort of a expectation, an estimate, but this is the way to do it. If we're going to expect, you would expect in a sample of that many. So what we're going to do is to set up a proportion. Knowing something about the problem is that we have 186, so we familiarize ourselves. 186 drives contains 4 defective. Okay, but now we're looking for, how about if we have 1,302? We set up a proportion. So we're going to say, okay, defective drives are the total drives on both sides. Well, we know the one that was given, but we don't know the other. So what we do is we set up the proportion and we do a cross multiplication, and then we find that's 28. So 4 is to 186 as 28 is to the 1302. Now determine the number of humpback whales. Another example. Humpback whales, they're cool. In a pod, a marine biologist using tail markings. This happens out here on Sandy Hook all the time. They mark various kinds of fish and whales and so on with the tail markings. Identifies 35 members of the pod. Several weeks later, 50 whales from the pod are randomly sighted. Of the 50 cited, 18 are from the 35 originally identified. Estimate the number of whales in the pod. So go back, read it very, very carefully. Okay? Identifies 35 members of the pod. Several weeks later, 50 whales from the pod are randomly sighted. Of the 50 cited, 18 are from the 35 originally identified. And then identify the number of whales in the pod. Okay, we did reread. Now, since 18 of 55 of the 50 that were later cited were among those originally identified, the ratio is 18 over 50. Estimates the percentage of the pod originally identified. We can then translate the proportion. The whales identified for the entire pod, which would be 35 over W, and the later was the original whales cited later was 18 over 50. Set up that proportion. You're going to find that these are really useful when you cut your science classes. Solve, we're going to do either cross multiplication or use the least common multiple. And there we go, 97.22. We can check it out. There are about 97 whales in the pod. So that's using our. Another example, Jake's scooter goes 4 miles per hour faster than Josh's does. Okay, got that. So who's going faster? Jake's new scooter goes 4 miles per hour faster than Josh does on the scooter. In the time, notice in the time it takes Jake to travel 54 miles, Josh travels 48 miles. Find the speed of each scooter. Now, anytime you have a distance problem, think about your D is equal to rate times time. So let's see if we can set up something here. Okay, we're going to see that going 20 miles an hour, Josh would be going, obviously we're just going to use some numbers and see how it works out. However, we know that 3 is not equal to 2.7. We can do better. So our guess was wrong, but we can see that if R is the rate in miles per hour, Jake's scooter then can rate as Josh's scooter be R minus 4. Let's make a drawing and construct a table to see what's useful here. Okay, Jake's scooter, the distance is 54, the rate is R. So the time is 54 over R. And Josh's scooter is 48, and that speed is R minus 4. So it's 48. Remember, that's your distance over the rate is going to be equal to the time. What we do, since we were told that the times must be the same, the times have to be the same, that's why we're able to put a proportion together, because now the times were the same. We simply make these two guys here, after taking the information from the table, make them equal, and we're just going to solve. Okay? Use the cross multiplication if you care to, and get r is equal to 36. Okay, our answer checks since the 2 times are the same when we put the numbers in. Jake's speed is 36 and Josh must be 32. Makes sense, works out. End of 5.6.